Wait, wait, wait. Hey guys, Moss here. Hope you're doing super, super well. Welcome to the World Frequency Meditation and predictions. A lot of you have come to know that, well, my predictions are shit more accurate than most. There's a lot of futurists out there, like Ray Kurzweil or even like spiritual people that like, predict the future and so on like that. And they actually uh, predicted that it's going to be chaotic here, chaotic here at the end of October, and then it's going to be chaotic at the end of November and so on like that. And well, they were wrong. A lot of naysayers out there. It is the end of time, so welcome to the end of time, the way we see it, and I'll explain that. Okay, because it's not the death of time; it actually is the end of time. I'm actually here at a beautiful friend's house, and they just have a beautiful river house or lake house, and it's just. I'll take some pictures and send you guys on the Telegram channel, XI with Mas Sajady. I'll send you that. So it's really really nice here. Come up here to meditate and just kick back, relax, and really be part, say, of nature's frequencies. I want to talk about that a little bit. But this is the worldwide frequency meditation where we not just work on you all, we work on the world. Bill, you can move that and sit down if you want. Anyway, so what's happening right now is you get comfortable, as you get situated, and this is going to be an experiential meditation for you. Okay, an experiential meditation for you, where we literally work on you, and that's going to be the key difference nowadays. Moss on Sunday is going to be transforming massively because while the world's transforming, and we need to adapt. We need to adapt to those changes. So let's take a deep breath in. And I'll guide you into the deeper state so it becomes a more experiential experience for you, like I said. And this isn't about healing the world, actually. Most people think, oh, Moss, heals the world, or, Moss healed me from this and Moss healed me from that. And my, cancers went away and, I've got better relationships. I don't do that. I don't do that. By the way, I'm not the one who heals you. I do awaken whatever, ails you. I do awaken your natural healing self. That natural healing self is basically a connection to your higher version. And when you have that higher version or that connection to your higher version, this is where magical things can happen for you. I mean, amazingly magical things can happen where, well, you can heal yourself of cancer. You can have, say, massive amounts of financial success. You can have, fantastic relationships. You can age younger, like many of you who did the total human reset. Take a breath in again and notice your throat. Notice how much you've changed. Right? It's beyond, say, today's current science standards. It's way beyond. It's way the hell out there. So that's what we're getting into. So Moss on Sunday, the World Frequency Meditation is actually going to be a world, say, activation self-healing session. And so we're not only going to just work on the world, but we're going to work on you all as well as a group, because at the level that I'm at, and again, it's not an ego level, it's not an ego statement. It's just that I'm at a higher level where I can help individuals, thousands of individuals at one time. Okay. And it reduces the number of, say, clients I have waiting, like thousands of people just on a waiting list for me to get one-on-one. So again, a lot of you would probably even need a one-on-one session, which save you money. And it's not about making money. It's, although that's, beneficial, because we're here to make, money in today's society so we can be the best possible self, because that's a representation of abundance. So if you didn't get that, go back and listen to it. Take a breath in again. Linda here, growing younger, the number of healthier and stronger individuals. Absolutely. So, oh, Moss looks so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Kind of, gosh. Thank you so much. It's the lighting, guys. No, I'm just kidding. It's the frequencies. Take a breath in again. So in this session, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on, say, the world frequencies. And as I tap into the group, I'm going to split you up into, say, sections for you. And that's what I do when I work on people at an individual level. Okay. Um, take a breath in again. And just notice your neck. And then throughout the process, so we'll work on all of you will come together as a group, as a oneness. And then what'll happen is that will help us, say, awaken. Okay. It'll create like a wave that'll like transfer through, say, the frequency of the world, human consciousness. It creates like a wave. Does that make sense? So this is much like, when, say, the cell phone came out, this version of it, not the original version, but, when like Apple introduced, right, it created a wave of consciousness. And then everybody, whether they knew about the cell phone or not, say, arose to that higher level of technology. Hence, the most remote, say, parts of the country or the world, where they have nothing else, they're still in their, robes from, centuries ago. They carry a freaking cell phone. In fact, I'll even post a picture of these guys in Peru. They have oxens and then, plowing their field, and the guy's on his cell phone. Kind of crazy, right? So what kind of transition is that? Take a breath in again. Just notice your spine for those individuals who have spine issues. For those individuals who don't want to have spine issues, again, by the way, I'm not saying I can cure you or anything like that. All I'm saying is I can awaken you to, say, a better version of yourself. Um, so a lot of things happening in this world, a lot of things coming up. It is the end of time as we know it. Right? It literally is the end of time as we know it. So what does that mean? Is it the end of the world? Are we coming to an end? Are we going to be judged? Are we going to go to heaven or hell? Those kind of paradigms. Well, those paradigms might be true or they might not be true, and so on like that. In the near future, you'll find out. But a lot of people have lived their lives from that paradigm. That's the problem. Thousands of years ago, they've lived from that life of, I better be a good person or X will happen. If I'm a bad person, Y will happen. And today's society, take a breath in again. Today's society is based on that, right? Good or bad, doing good or bad. And none of that is true, right? And we're starting to realize that because right now at this level that we're at this zero level consciousness, by the way, is where we can create density, where we can create experiences of time and space where everything doesn't have to happen at once, like Einstein said. This reality is just that. It allows us to experience things one at a time. Okay. So at this level, obviously, to create that level of density, again, notice it's nothing about religious or spirituality or anything like that. It's just straight out physics. We would have to have reference points, or good or bad, light and dark, hot and cold, and so on like that, to reference where we are, right? As you notice your neck, as you notice your back, and again, those people who are feeling the frequencies, comment in on how you're feeling, okay? Um, and we're not just working on the group, okay? We're going to be working on, say, political leaders and those leaders that are transforming into, well, they should be transforming into higher levels of awareness, but and I'll explain that as well. So again, these are some of the predictions that I'll get into as we help you. I might start talking a little different because I ascend to a higher level of of awareness of myself and awareness of, say, this reality, because you really have to, say, step out of this reality to really help it or bring in a solution. Okay. There's no other way, by the way. It's just straight out physics. So when we talk about the end of time as we know it, many people go into, well, the world is going to end. There's going to be mass devastation. There's going to be mass transformation. It is going to be where your sins are going to be calculated. And, if you've sinned more than before, then you're going to go down or you're going to go up, right? Again, that could be true, and there is some truth to it. And I'll explain that to you as I work on you, an individual. Those individuals who get headaches, by the way, headaches for whatever reason. By the way, I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to cure you or anything like that. But let's get to the first principle reason on why you would have those headaches. Okay. And I'll explain some of the things. But those individuals who have head issues or headaches and so on, like that tension from, say, physical issues or even like frequency issues or, emotional issues and so on like that. I see a big number of people having like headaches nowadays or from the neck on up. Um, and then also, there's another, so I'll work on that subgroup and I'll explain that in the upcoming, frequency meditations next month when we do this again on Moss on Sunday. Take a breath in and just notice your space. And then there are those individuals, again, these are the subgroups that we talk about. And by the way, I might jump around because there's different, say, versions of me or duplicates of me that will work on you. And what's needed for those groups to hear, you'll hear. I don't teach you in a linear fashion, by the way, because that slows down your brain. Your brain is of a component that's not of linear fashion. Right? So school systems and so on like that in the future will not teach you or will not teach of linear fashion, by the way. It'll be more of, well, what we do here today, more spatially referenced for you. So I might say start a conversation about something and then not end it, right? And then I'll start another conversation, which ties in or might tie into that conversation, but it allows your brain to grow and expand because when you're thinking linearly, right, and then you finish that one component of your thoughts, say on speeches or teaching sessions or lectures or whatever you learn from, you finish it, your mind goes, that is done. It compacts it, it wraps it up. Just like a video process, right? It processes it and then it dumps it somewhere in your brain, and then it's hard to access. Right? And that's where you stop growing. And then that information that you just learned doesn't transform into physical, say, transformation for you. The knowledge doesn't change you. The knowledge it gets stored in your head somewhere. And then you actually have to access it. What I do, and it's for confusing for some individuals, again, that's good. So if you're confused right now, like I see a lot of people, that's really good because I'm forcing you to break through to your natural element of, say, learning. Okay, and that again, this is like spatial, say, learning for you. Notice your throat, and then notice your jawline for you. For those individuals who have I don't know, like say thyroid issues or neck issues or a lot of issues, again, headaches and so on like that. It's a lot of tension in your neck area. Again, not diagnosing. I'm just telling you what I see. I could be a madman that's just totally off. Okay. But let's release that for you. And that could be due to, say, some of the allergies that you might have or some of the foods that you might have. So again, watch out for that. Somebody says TMJ, exactly. And then again, that could be from tension or stress, but it could be from, again, some of the foods that just like tighten your muscles. Notice your space. So let's bring in, say, the world leaders, because they always say, the world leaders, business leaders, religious leaders, political leaders, whatever leaders, your family dynamics, whoever leads that group, and who you think your leader is, like a God leader, right? That's a leader for you that you follow by. So let's bring those in as well, because, they might be right. I'm not saying your religions or anything is wrong. I'm not saying it's right. But what I am saying is that could you practice it better? Could you practice it back to the original version of what, say, a Jesus would practice or a Buddha or a Muhammad would have practiced, or other, say, spiritual, avenues, right? There was obviously some benefit to it, hence it turned into, say, a religion. But then again, are you getting the same results as those great individuals? If you're not, you're probably doing it wrong. Okay. Either church or whoever is teaching it wrong to you. Again, there's nothing. I'm not criticizing or anything. I'm just telling you the bottom line. I'm just that bottom line kind of guy. All right. Breath in again. Notice your heart and lungs area. So there's a couple things that I want to talk about. Wow, so much stuff is coming in, guys. So if I say blank out sometimes, or if I don't say anything, it's just that I have to. You guys are all your frequencies are all coming in at once, and it's like slow down. Let's just categorize you so I can help you more efficiently. Okay, just think if you had a mob running at you, right? It'd be nice if that mom running at you was categorized. It's like, oh, this part of the mob has head issues, this part has, say, sexual identity issues, this part has like heart problems and so on, this part has, say, really bad confidence issues and so on, fear issues, insecurities and so on, like that. So those, and those are just a few that I see. So I'll be working on those levels. For those who are new, doesn't matter. It's like, well, I don't believe this guy. I have to know I have to understand how he works before I accept the healing, the self healing. I'm not healing you. I'm activating your own natural self healing, by the way. No, you don't. You don't know how your cell phone works. You don't know how an airplane works. You don't know how wireless technology works, but you use it every fucking day. So again, you don't have to know how to do it. You just need to, say, benefit from it. And then once you benefit from it, you can actually understand it better. Okay. Take a breath in and just notice your chest area. I know the frequencies are quite strong. We're bringing in, say, higher level consciousness for you. Um, there we go. Higher level consciousness, by the way, is you. It's not anybody else. I'm not connecting you to another source. You don't need another source. If you read your religious books, no matter what religious book it is, it basically tells you to understand God, right? It says that to understand me, understand yourself, right? That would be God's voice, by the way. Anyway, but nobody knows that, right? They always search, they leave themselves behind. And again, they try to find a higher version of what God might be like. And again, in your own religious text, and I'm just clarifying it for you. And you go, well, I'm not religious. Sure, you're not. Most of your patterns on being a good person, bad person, even if you're atheist or you're a scientist, are based on religious values. Okay, it's just a genetic pattern it's been so ingrained in us that it's just a genetic pattern now. Okay? Simple as that. So you're still really, going through that process. Oh, I nearly died on Friday. Um, I'll talk about that for you. Okay, take a breath in. So there's a lot of things to talk about, guys. One, again, bringing in the religious leaders, spiritual leaders. So if you can think of a political leader, for example, that you want, say, worked on, um, just note them, whatever country you're in. Okay, or even the bad guys. Who knows which ones are the bad guys or the good guys anymore? Now, that's the sad thing, right? Well, you'll know very soon. Breath in again. This is a time of major transition. So we'll start from the beginning. It's end of days. It's the end of time. And that sounds like, gosh, God's going to be coming out and we're all going to die. It's the end of the world. It's really not. It's really not. It's basically the end of how time functions. Right? It's the end of technology. On it's the technology that I talk about is the technology again of how time and space work. Time and space again is more of a molecule again, and I'll write more papers on this, by the way, to prove it. Just like any other concept, Einstein, his colleagues thought he was crazy, and they actually wanted to put him into a mental institution. So I'm sure when you Moss said that time and space is a molecule. It's like, man, this guy's crazy, especially if you're a physicist and so on. I'll explain that, and then later on, it'll be proof for you. But take a breath in again. So that, just like any other invention, gets better and better over time. It gets more fluid, it becomes more dynamic. Again, the cell phone concept back in the day, it was really bulky and it really didn't make any good calls, right? Over generations, over billions and trillions of years, time has uh, become more and more efficient. More, we can do more and more things. This is where technology has risen to a massive growth. For example, it's not because we have smarter engineers and so on like that, although that's an output, right? Not because of. Consciousness has arisen. If you've noticed through past history, right, there's a revolution that comes through. Where did that revolution come through? That's because of the mindset of humanity has increased to a higher level of consciousness. It's not because a group of people, like the UN and so on, said, hey, you know what, we need to start this something, and then it's not because of that. It's because consciousness has changed and it creates a revolution, like the Industrial Revolution. It really brought in great ideas, great concepts. It was the end of time back then for the Industrial Revolution, right? The Stone Age, that was another revolution. Stone Age came in when, we started to use tools, for example. That was a consciousness. Again, time and space updated itself, upgraded itself. So it brought in, say, new possibilities. Time and space is the consciousness that I talk about is like an operating system. Take a breath in again. Notice your back. Notice again your midsection, especially those individuals who have, say, sexual identity issues. This world has a lot of sexual identity issues, even if you're heterosexual, right? So let's bring that back into control. And those individuals who don't know who they are, they can't, say, relate to a certain sexual identity. Again, it's not that you're wrong. It's not that you're right. It's just that we're all confused. That's the problem. We're all confused. And we think that being gender specific or whatever you want to call yourself, for example, that's going to, say, rectify the issues that you have with your life. It doesn't. That's the same mistake people make when people go, well, if I make $1 billion, my life is just going to be fucking perfect. It doesn't. So whether it's or people go, well, if I find that next relationship for me, my fucking life is going to be perfect. And it doesn't. Again, people reach out for physical features to make their life perfect. It's not about that. XI, becoming exponentially intelligent, is not about that. It's not about that at all. It's not psychology. It's not self-improvement. It's not how much you can accumulate. It's not how you identify yourself. It's got nothing to do with that. It's about how you render yourself in the multidimensional self that you are. Which multidimensional self are you, say, operating or turning on, right? Most of us are running a multidimensional self that is not optimal for you. Okay. You might create, say, wealth, for example. If you're running wealth in that, say, not the best optimal space, take a breath in, just notice your shoulders, your spine. Your wealth would mean nothing to you. Okay. If you are creating, say, hey, I am a male or female or one of the other choices that people are now making, and your multidimensional self is not the best version of itself, it doesn't matter what choice you make. Right? And I know, I'm sure I'll get a lot of flack about this, but again, it doesn't matter what choice you make in that simulation of yourself. It's not going to help you at all. It's about the dimension that you create or render yourself in. And I know that goes through a lot of people's heads, especially if you're new to me. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? There's so much science coming out of it. We're just ahead of the game in the scientific field, guys. It's like we're ahead by about 50 to about 75 years ahead of where science is today. Okay. Take a breath in. So notice your heart. Notice your head space, or notice whatever issue that you have going on, physical issues, emotional issues, logistical issues, like wealth and so on like that. There's enough people on the call. so we can create groups for you. So many confused kids today. There's a reason for that. It's not just random. I was just talking about that with my friend Bill here. And they're our future. So think of it this way, guys. Kids today, time and space has changed, and I'll talk more about that, okay? Time and space has changed. So consciousness has changed. So a new generation of kids are being born, okay? Just like Generation X, Generation Y, or whatever generation, right? That comes about. This is a new generation of kids because, again, time and space have changed. Not because, fads have changed and so on like that. Breath in, notice your neck area again. So what's happened is that, there you go. A lot of you guys feeling the frequencies. That's nice. Some of you might feel really good about it, or really good. Some of you might not feel so great. Right? Again, those people who feel not so great is because you're letting go of the garbage. Right? And that's what I want to talk about. But for the kids, it's a new generation. They start to see, you did this as well. You start to see your parents' patterns, and it's like, damn, mom and dad grew that old, really. They got sick. They got this and that. Like, I don't want to do that, right? The religions and the way they work their ass off and not feel good about themselves and how they treated me and all that. It's like, I don't want to do that to my kids, right? And then you look towards society, and then it's like, shit, I don't want to do that to my kids. I don't want to be that, right? And then they're stuck. It's like, well, where do I go? Well, they're waiting for this new consciousness to come in, and this is what it's about. But unfortunately, over the past decades, you guys didn't realize, that there were possibilities right in front of you. So you chose one of those two choices. And this is where your life became what it is today. Okay. So notice your spine, notice your neck. A lot of people commenting on their neck area. Notice the groin area, your identity, and then those individuals who are, say, confused, okay, even if you're heterosexual, right? You don't know how to be a strong masculine, or you don't know how to be a strong feminine. And again, it's not about your physical identity. Again, if you're gay, you're gay. You're genetically gay. That's totally cool, but you want to own it, and you want to be complete with it, where you're so fucking complete with it that other people around you go, wow, they really own it. I admire them. That makes sense to you? That's where you want to be. So breath in again. Again, so for those individuals, notice your head and notice your groin. So basically, hardware and software don't match. Simple as that. Let's go back to world leaders, the future. And these are some of the predictions. In the next, especially as elections come by, you're going to see darker and darker, say, leaders um, get elected or be put into position. And then you might go, well, hey, Moss, the world is changing. It's the end of the world. It's changing for the new version, like you said. Why are you saying this? Well, just like how many of you had detox, right? All your bullshit or all your darkness has to come out, right? And I want to explain it this way, okay? Just to make it easy for you. You're falling in love. And again, I was just talking to Bill about this. You're falling in love, right? You're connecting with a person, you fall in love. Take a breath in. Notice your torso on up. And again, for those a little messed up, even if you don't think you're messed up, I'm a solid man. Notice your head and notice your groin area. You're falling in love. You're falling in love, and then you go, gosh, I'm falling in love. What happens? First thing that happens in your mind, all your fears come out, all the shadows that you hide come out, right? Your discrepancies of yourself come out. Why is that? Is like God playing a trick on you? Of course not. God doesn't play tricks, by the way. God is straight out physics. Simple as that. No emotions, straight out physics. The outcome of that, what you feel, is pure, unadulterated love. Okay. So take a breath in. So you might go, well, gosh, why does that all that stuff come out when I'm falling in? Well, it's like you graduated to a new level. It's like, congratulations, you're falling in love. Love is supposed to be an expansive experience, a magnifying experience for you. You're supposed to feel, say, great and grand. And it says, hey, if you graduate, or you got promoted to a love office, well, you can't bring along your bullshit, your insecurities, your incompleteness, your fears, and so on. Your definition of love, it's right. Your definition of love doesn't really work out for the most part. So it's like, hey, you can't bring that along because we've got a better definition of love, closer to the first principle definition, right? The top value definition of love, for example, in this analogy, where it makes more sense. It wasn't derived from your parents or society and all that stuff. Again, that's what first principle is. First principle is solutions that have no exceptions to the rule. Simple as that. That's what first principle is. That's what becoming exponentially intelligent is. So, but in this analogy, all those fears come out. Then what do? We don't go, oh, I need to leave that behind, or I need to fix that so I can move in to my new office of love, right? And I can have that relationship really good. What do? We go, shit, I better hide this. I better hide my insecurities. I better hide this, and I better not tell my ex about this and that and all that. Not my ex, my new lover, right? Lo and behold, sooner than later, especially as time becomes more efficient, you can't hide your bullshit. So it has to show up in your relationships. And that's where your relationships go. If you've ever wondered why your relationships don't work out, you don't need more love. You don't need more date nights. You don't need more whatever sexual toys and all that bullshit. You just need to be true to yourself. So this is a time of truth for you, right? You need to let go of it, heal from it. And that's what we're doing here on these world frequency meditations. Take a breath in again. So why do I say that the world leaders will become, say, darker? Because to be exposed, everything's being exposed. So you get to see the darkness. So world leaders, whether they're old or they're new, you'll see the darkness of those leaders, business, religious, political, whatever else, or the people that think that they run this world. They don't. They're scared shitless, actually. Take a breath in. The darkness you'll see more than ever. It'll be more apparent for you than ever. And that's the world leaders that we're working on. Okay, that's totally cool. Down to you. The darkness that you run into, the darkness that controls yourself. And darkness could be old patterns, genetic values like illnesses, aging the way you do, and so on like that. Your ideas of like working your ass off, sacrificing yourself to love your kids, to love your spouse, to love money, or to love abundance, right? All that bullshit, that's the darkness in you. All that stuff has to say, leave you. And that's what this is about. So this is why, as we come to the end of time, we're elevating, right? We're graduating to that next level because we've accomplished that as humanity wide. We've accomplished that. We're graduating to the next level. You can't take that bullshit behind. So it comes out to light for you. It's like shining a flashlight on you. And it just literally shines everything upon you. Whether you're a world leader, you'll see, and then the masses will look at that world leader and go, oh yeah, there's no question. Their system is fucked up. And then what do? they lose control. The masses become dehypnotized. The masses start to follow their own strength. So that's why I say again, in the near future, especially with elections throughout the world, you'll see a lot of darkness, a lot of dark leaders, darker than dark, so to speak. And I'm not talking about skin color. I'm talking about, say, again, frequencies, right? Heavy frequencies. They'll be elected, they'll be put into office. It's a short stay. It's just a sign of the times of where we are. It gives you a gauge on where, say, consciousness is. And it's a true gauge. In the past, we're running on fumes, guys. But governments and so on like that tell us, hey, we're fucking full. You've got a long way to go. Humanity and consciousness wise, we're running on fumes. There really is nothing else to go on. So your real value starts to show up. Okay? So you'll start to see the financials kind of like drop down and reset themselves to original value. Okay, real value. So you start to see the stocks break down. You start to see maybe cryptos, the new standard, bringing up. You'll start to see in some countries coming forward for you, by the way. They're starting to use more and more crypto, right? Because it can't be, say, debased, it can't be controlled, can't be manipulated. So this world that's ending is a world of, say, lacking manipulation. There's no manipulation anymore. Take a breath in again. So this next thing, and again, this is something I talked about with my friend here, Bill, um, is that it's not a crash. It's not like two armies, dark and light, coming in as a crash, because it doesn't work that way. Because again, even the light or even the truth that have been there, again, when you fight against, say, the lies, what happens? It deteriorates the truth, unfortunately. This time, in this scenario, it's more like tectonic plates. Okay. So, where tectonic plates happen, again, it happens on Earth all the time. Two plates meet. Okay. And then there is an earthquake. So, there's going to be a time and space earthquake. One plate cracks. So, there's that tension there. And then one plate, again, the new dynamics of how time and space is, overrides the old plate. And this is how Earth has evolved. This is how the universe has evolved, by the way. And then the old just sink under, reclaim, and get reclaimed, revitalized as the new, say, to life. So that's the new look of war, by the way. That's the new look of change. It's not before, it was just like, boom. In this new phase, it literally is like a transition like that. The old just gets recycled. If you're part of that old, if you don't let go of your old self, you'll get recycled. You'll get awakened. You'll get refurbished. No worries there. You just won't be here on the physical level. So you'll see a lot of people, say, dying. Some strange ways. Strange deaths are going to happen. I predicted this long time ago. So breath in. I like this one. Zach's Medi just made my neck snap into place. Those people who don't know Zach, he's my son. Really fantastic. My daughter Emmy, they're really getting into it. They're one of those individuals that are helping out. Many of you, your abilities are coming forward. For example, helping, again, this new consciousness coming out. So if you have a chance to look at their meditations, if you need help, especially with detox, especially if you work with me, because I'm that surgeon that just releases a lot of stuff really fast, they'll help you reset really well. So Zachy and Emmy, yeah, thanks for, and if you can post Emmy's website up there as well, that'd be great. Take a breath in. So the children of today, the youth of today, and I'm not talking physical age, I'm talking spiritual age. So those people who are, say, 70 and have always been waiting for some time to happen, it's like some moment in time is going to open up for me. And some moment in time is happening for me, and I'll see the brilliance of what this reality has to offer. How many of you are like that? You're older. So that's what I'm talking about, the youth. Obviously, babies who are born, they're just naturally into it, right? They're naturally into that. But now, the older individuals who go, God, I knew this world wasn't supposed to be this way. Those individuals can reset themselves, literally recreate. It's the second chance on life that they have. Many of you are getting that second chance, right? Is it a spiritual age? Yes, it is a spiritual age, not defined by old spiritual definitions. Everything will be redefined for you, by the way. So spirituality as you know it, and this is where people or individuals go, my religion is going to be over the dominant one, and then that's what we're going to be, right? We're going to be that world of one religion. It's not. It's not going to be. Because if your religion or if your thought or if your mindset or if your belief system really worked, your life would be changed, and that would be so powerful that the world around you would be changed. So everything's going to be new, a redefinition of everything. Again, those things of the past haven't worked out for you. Okay. So again, if you're one of those individuals that go, yes, Christianity is going to come and, save the world. No, it had 2022 years to have a chance to save the world. It didn't work out. I'm not saying it's wrong, but something was wrong. Okay. Islam, Judaism, and all the other things. That's why Kanye West, getting a little fucked up, but said whatever about the Jews. Again, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true, but you'll see a lot more of that shit come up because people are going to start blaming other people because they're going to go back to their old concepts. Okay. It's not true. Because if those old concepts did have, say, any function or viability, it would have worked. You'd see it work, but obviously it's not working. Okay. Take a breath in. So everything's changing. The end of the world. Talk about the dead. How do you change the end of the world? Or how do you transition into the end of the world? And again, the end of the world is not the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of how time and space work. So a new time and space start to come into play. Simple as that. It's like a new software update for not humanity, but this time and space reality, the universe. It's not just us. The universe, planets, and the universe is changing. You'll see more. You'll see scientific, say, changes or measurements change within the next 5 or so years because time and space is becoming more efficient. Okay? So you'll see the orbits of the planets and so on like that. That'll change to become more precise, by the way. Okay. And it'll be proven because time, again, the measurements will change, be more accurate. So what that means is, again, it's a new version. The old version of you running like an operating system. Okay. Who remembers Windows 3.0? That was the biggest thing back in the day, right? Take a breath in. Again, notice your head, notice your groin area, especially, and then notice your head and groin. And then notice whatever ails you. Work on that as well, since we're working on like 12 different subgroups. Thank you. So what that means is that the operating system of time and space is upgrading itself to a new version. So the end of time is basically the end of where the old version of time and space will not be supported by the universe anymore. Okay. So if you're still running, say, Windows 3.0, again, you can't get software, you can't get anything to support your old system. Does that make sense? Time and space is that way as well. We've had about 2022 years to say upgrade our system so we can seamlessly go into the new version. Fortunately, a lot of us didn't do that. Simple as that. Breath in. There we go. So it's the death of the old system. Those who are still on the old system will naturally transition because they're not being supported. Those who transition into the old system or who are born into the old system, it's a brand new world. There'll be more efficiencies, new technologies that I'll be talking about, different opportunities for you. It's not going to be a world of lack, control, or sacrifice. Again, there's so many be different ways to reestablish yourself. This world that's coming in, and it's going to be exciting, although going through it for some of you might not feel great, is about not always trying to fix yourself or heal yourself, but it's about, say, how possible or what are the possibilities of humans. So I'll just be quiet for about a minute or two, and then we'll just end. Breath in again. Close your eyes. Don't chat. Just stay here. Again, notice how you feel. Those who are older, you'll find that you'll feel younger, more vibrant if you've been waiting, if you've been knowing of this time. Again, a second chance on life. You'd be amazed at how, say, you heal to experience the introduction to this new time. Those who are, say, riddled with darkness and lies and control and so on, you'll be healed as well. But it might be painful for you. Say your whole life has been 90% a lie. Well, it's like a tumor that's over 90% of your body. It's going to be surgically removed whether you like it or not. So if it's 90% of your body, most likely it's going to be painful. Simple as that, to be removed, right? But it allows your new self to come forward. So it cleans you up. And by the way, it's not based on whether you think you've been a nice person or you think that your judgment or your justifications justify your actions. It's not. It's just based on principles that were set in a timeless realm for this realm. Okay? Simple as that. We're all going back to a more efficient system of who we are, humans. All right, guys. So let me know, one, like this video, two, share this video, and subscribe to the channel because we need more and more individuals on the bandwagon if we're going to make a transition to a higher platform. Okay. Thanks for being here, guys. Look for more changes coming up on Moss on Sunday to better serve you all into the new paradigm. Okay. We're upgrading. You should too. And again, thanks for everybody. Thanks for the team, guys. There's a lot of team members behind the scenes that make all this happen for y'all. Okay. So you subscribe and we're good. Take care.